Hello everyone, Gaming Smiley here and welcome to my review of Halloween from 2018. This is the latest one, and it's also Halloween, well it is right now. But this was directed by David Gordon Green and I'd give this easily a 7 out of 10. It's almost as good as the original. I like it a lot. And so Jamie Lee Curtis returns to play Laurie Strode again. Laurie Strode's about, 57? I think so. Yeah, because Michael's 61. But, this film's about an hour and 44 minutes long, and the music was composed by John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies, and the music for this film is great. It's brilliant. It makes the scenes even tenser. Like it should. Unlike a lot of horror films that come out these days where it's just big blaring noises. But yeah, and then just quiet and then big blaring noise when the jump scare happens. It's not kind of like, there's some parts, it's a horror, some parts are like that, but it's not all like in other ones. But yeah, if you want a quick little summary of the story, it's been 40 years since the original and Michael breaks free and Laurie chases after him. That's the quick rundown. It's Halloween in Haddonfield. 40 years later, Michael breaks free. That's it. That's all you gotta know before you see this movie. Well, you also need to know what happens in the original. That'd make this viewing experience so much easier. But as me done for the non-spoilers, I'd give it a 7 trick-or-treat bags out of 10. And so the film starts off with a couple of podcasters who do like a true crimes podcast, and they basically come to speak to Michael. Well, they try to figure out some more because it's been 40 years. They want to know if Michael will speak to them, but Michael doesn't speak to them. Anyway, they run into Dr. Sartain, and he'll be quite important to this movie. He acts as sort of a device for Michael. But I don't mind him that much. Lots of people don't like him, but I don't really mind him. He does have a goofy point, but still. So Dr. Sartain shows that he's completely different from Loomis, because Loomis hates Michael, he wants him killed, but Sartain wants to keep studying Michael and wants to keep him under lock and key so he can study him. He wants to actually see him outside. But so Dr. Sartain explains that actually they're moving him from Smith's Grove to another place that's much worse, as he calls it, hell on earth. But anyway, so the guy podcaster, whose name I can't quite remember, doesn't matter, they'll both die. But anyway, so he asks Michael to say something, and he pulls out the Myers mask, which he got from a friend, which obviously he got from Evidence Lockup, which is a bit iffy, but he said he was borrowing it, but still a bit iffy. It's also got 40 years worth of damage. This isn't the original mask. The original mask is actually much worse. But that's what the mask looks like now. It's all wrinkly and dark in certain spots. But anyway, so of course Michael doesn't say nothing because he's Michael. Michael is played by Nick Castle at some points, and for the rest of the film, James Jude Courtney. And Nick Castle played Michael in the original. He's apparently returning for the next one. So but anyway. So he keeps asking Michael to say something. He's getting louder and louder, and all the inmates around him are starting screaming and making noises. And then suddenly we smash cut to the title screen, and the Halloween theme starts playing, and it's great. It was fucking great in the cinema you in it. And then we see a rotted pumpkin that then puffs up back into a normal jack-o'-lantern. Well, it's the jack-o'-lantern from the original one, and I guess this is also showing that this one's to bring the franchise back to life, and kind of does, because it's actually pretty good. But they also show you that the nose is supposed to be a knife, and the eye is supposed to be Michael's face, because it zooms it head, because it zooms in on it, and everything else goes black, so all you can see is this bit. the jack-o'-lantern. But anyway, this film, the kills in this film, by the way, they're you don't see them happen, but you see the aftermath. There is some that you see happen, of course, but there's the aftermath that you mostly see. But anyway, so after this failure, the podcasters go to Laurie Strode. They go to her house. She's living just down the outskirts of Haddonfield, in this place that's got like metal fencing and stuff. You know, because it's been 40 years and she's constantly paranoid that she might get attacked or Michael might escape. This has no connection, by the way, to the other Halloween films. It only has connection to the original. So, yeah. Anyway, so they go to ask her questions. They have to pay her first. And they ask her a bunch of questions. And they fill in some backstory for us, you know, that her daughter got taken away, that she's had several failed marriages, and that she was an alcoholic and all this. And, yeah, basically, Laurie then asks them if they believe in the boogeyman, and if you've seen the original Halloween, you know this is, if you answer this as a no, you are fucked. But, yeah. So she asks if they believe in Michael Myers, the boogeyman, and the guy says, no, I believe in Michael Myers, a deranged serial killer, but not the boogeyman. She's like, you should do. You should believe in the boogeyman. And, yeah, that means he's gonna die. But anyway, we cut to breakfast with Laurie's daughter and her family, with her husband Ray. Well, Laurie's daughter's name is Karen, and Karen's with her daughter Allison and her husband Ray. Ray's, I think, making a peanut butter sandwich, and he accidentally drops peanut butter, but on his trousers, so he says, "I got peanut butter on my penis." It's just a bit cringy and awkward, but still, I mean, he's a dad, so yeah, dads can be quite cringy and awkward. But anyway, Allison's she's gonna have a good day, you know. She's got honor roll or whatever, however the fuck that works. But anyway, yeah, she's gonna have a good day. And then she walks with her friends, Vicky and her boyfriend Dave. And Dave is being a cunt and basically says that what Laurie went through was nothing in comparison to the grand scheme of things, and then Dave's told to shut the fuck up because he's a pothead. But yeah, he blows up a pumpkin, and then we cut to Allison in her English class. It's kind of like the original. This film kind of does what The Force Awakens tried to do, where it tries to be like the original but different. But this film actually does that in a good way, unlike The Force Awakens. But yeah, so it's like the English scene in the original, where you know, Michael's looking at Laurie, but instead of Michael looking at Allison, it's Laurie looking at Allison. You know, she's keeping an eye on her. I mean, it's Halloween. Laurie's quite neurotic around Halloween. Well, I think it's the 30th. It isn't Halloween just yet. But anyway, so the next thing that we get to see is Laurie has a chat with her granddaughter, and she gives her the money that the podcasters gave her, saying, she basically says, oh, this is going to college fund. And Laurie says, fuck college, and go to Mexico, because that's apparently a dream of Allison's. And yeah, whatever. Basically, Allison tells Laurie to just get over Michael. It's been 40 years. You know, like in H2O. And you know what happened in H2O? Michael showed up after they told her to forget about it. So that happened, obviously. I mean, it would be obvious. Wouldn't be very obvious if it wasn't. But yeah. So, next we cut to Laurie. And she's practicing with some guns, shooting some mannequins, and you know, she does this every day, I think. But anyway, don't know how she has all the money for the bullets, you know, being a pensioner now. But yeah. So next thing we know, Laurie's watching as Michael gets put on the bus, and she's crying, she's drinking. You know, that's the man that 40 years ago killed her friends, fucked up her entire mental state, her entire life. You know, that guy. And she's looking at him getting on a bus, and Apparently, in the original one that was shown to test audiences, she got out of the car and tried to kill Michael before he got on the bus. But that was cut because people didn't like it because they made Laurie look evil, which I'm glad that got changed because I don't like the idea of Laurie purposefully trying to kill him and causing the entire film to happen. But yeah, so we also hear Loomis, well, an impression of Loomis that isn't just a stereotypical English accent. It actually sounds like Donald Pleasence, and it's very good. You know, he's talking about how Michael needs to die. You know, he needs to be burned alive. He needs to die. He needs to be burned to ashes. But anyway, next thing we know, we cut to Allison with her boyfriend, whose name I've got written down somewhere. Hold on. So, Cameron. It's Cameron. His name's Cameron. And Cameron's dad turns out to be Lonnie from the original, the one that Loomis tells to get away from the Myers house. And who tells... oh no. I'm forgetting his name. The kid that Laurie sent. Tommy Doyle. That's it. She babysat. Told Tommy Doyle about the boogeyman. And Michael grabbed him. Basically, he talks about how his dad's a bad seed and how he did all this and that. And Cameron's obviously very, very, very feeling awkward with this. He feels awkward. He feels very awkward about it. But so does... And then he's basically told to shut the fuck up by Karen. Because, you know, they're trying to have a good time. Not be reminded of everything that somebody's dad has done. But anyway, so we find out that for Halloween they've got a certain dress-up plan. And then Laurie bursts in and she, you know... Basically, this is just after a conversation between Karen and Allison about why Laurie isn't there. Turns out Karen never invited her. She said she did, but she didn't because Karen's a cunt. But yeah, Karen's very unlikable. I understand that she explains her childhood thing, but like she just becomes very irritating to me. She's probably my least favourite out of the three Strode women because she just really naive and dumb until about the end where she switches it and actually, you know, acts like how Laurie trained her. But yeah, so Laurie's basically saying how she saw Michael and she's panicking, and everyone's like, oh no, you need to move on. And yeah, I mean, you'd kind of be a little bit considerate towards Laurie considering it's Halloween. You know, that time of year that she's always a little bit more neurotic than usual. But anyway, so there is then a scene, we cut to a scene between a man and his kid. They're in the car, they're going to go hunting, and the kid doesn't want to go hunting because he's missing dance class. The dad's like, what the fuck, why, you're a boy, why do you want to dance? And he's like, Dad, I have no problem with going hunting with you on the weekend or whatever, but this is dance night, I want to go dancing. And he's like, whatever. And then they come across the bus, which is crashed, and all of the inmates are out and about, and, you know, that means Michael's out too. But, yeah, the dad goes to investigate. We never see him again, he's obviously fucking dead. But then the kid goes out to go and find his dad, and he grabs the gun that they've got, and he accidentally shoots Dr. Sartain when Dr. Sartain says don't shoot, but he still shoots him. You know, obviously out of panic. You know, like it's like when someone just goes boo at you. You don't expect it. You might accidentally punch him like that. But yeah. So he runs back to the car, and Michael kills him. Michael killed a child. He snapped his neck against the window. And yeah. So after that, we cut to Laurie. Laurie finds it. Well, actually, no, it's not this bit yet. We cut to a graveyard. The Haddonfield graveyard, where the podcasters have gone to Judith's grave. Obviously, the gravekeeper, the woman who runs the place, is like, what's so special about Judith Myers? And I'm just kind of sat there like, oh no. something that always happens in the Halloween sequels is like they forget that Michael exists. So then Michael shows up and makes them remember, and that's something that happens like all the time. It even happened in the original. You know, he killed his older sister, and then everybody forgot about it. All they remember was the Myers house, and then he came back and killed people, and now it happened again. But yeah. So anyway, Laurie finds out on the news that the bus crashed, and she sneaks into Karen's place. We don't see her sneak into Karen's place. Basically, Karen comes in, and then we see her husband walk in. The back door is open, but he's out the back. He comes in, and then all of a sudden, Laurie jumps out from the stairs and is like, "Bang! You're dead!" And obviously, Karen and her husband flip out. You know, Ray they flip out, and they realize that Laurie's got a gun. She says the bus crashed. She doesn't clarify which bus. She doesn't tell them that it was Michael. For all they know, she could have said that my bus crashed. You know, like she was getting a bus from her house to there, that it crashed. You know, but yeah. Anyway, she gets shooed out by her daughter, who tells her the world isn't a dark place and it's full of love and happiness. Yeah, you're preaching. You're reaching there, Karen. All right. You live in fucking Haddonfield, Illinois, a fictional place where this motherfucker comes from. But anyway, after this, we get to the garage. Well, actually, no, it's before. I've read the notes wrong. Anyway, we get to the garage. Michael kills a bunch of people. It's actually really cool. I like this scene because you see, well, the female podcaster used to go to the toilet, and the guy is obviously putting petrol into the car, and he goes in. But in the background, we see Michael killing a guy with his bare hands. It just shows how stealthy Michael is, you know, because nobody fucking notices him killing someone in broad daylight. Then he kills the mechanic, and then he kills the clerk when the guy steps outside. And then he has the overalls on, and he goes into the woman's bathroom, where the podcaster is, and he drops something, and then we cut back to the male one, who's looking at a dead clerk with his jaw is hanging open, like it's dislocated, and he's missing a bunch of teeth. Then we cut back to Michael in the bathroom, his teeth on the floor. She realizes it's teeth, and she tries to crawl under and try to escape. Anyway, male podcaster sees there's a dead mechanic, and he picks up a crowbar. He's just in his pants and top, and he picks up a crowbar and comes into the bathroom and he tries to fight Michael, and Michael, you know, bashes his head around the bar. He even uses him as a battering ram against the stall door. And the woman is really dumb. I think her name's Dana or whatever. But she's really dumb. She had like 30 seconds where she could have just ran away, but she just sat there with a crowbar. Anyway, Michael strangles her, snaps her neck, and leaves the other guy to bleed by the head at the wall. Then we meet Hawkins, who's investigating, and he's investigating it. He's apparently the first responder to the whole entire incident in 1978. But he stopped Loomis from killing Michael, which of course he regrets now. But yeah. So the next thing that we see after the Karen scene at her house is Michael in Haddonfield, which is one of my favourite scenes. It's Halloween now, and Michael's in Haddonfield, and he's getting immediately to work. He's not fucking waiting anymore. He's waited 40 fucking years to start killing people again. So he sneaks into this woman's house, grabs a hammer, bashes her head in. We don't see him bash her head in, but we see the aftermath. He picks up a knife, goes through. There's a baby. It cries, and it's kind of spooky. You know, it's a bit tense. You think he might kill the baby, but he's not going to kill the baby. He walks outside, he goes to another house. He sneaks in and he stabs a woman in the neck. And, like, we get to see how stealthy he is and how he operates, and it's fucking cool. I love that scene. It's so well shot. And apparently it was kind of done all in one take. Apparently instead of a baby, there was supposed to be a man on the couch, but the actor didn't want to show up, so they built a crib. But yeah. So back with Alison, she's going to a party, and she's on the phone with her pal Vicky, who's babysitting this guy called Julian. It's a pretty funny scene, probably the best bit of comic relief that I've seen in a while. And yeah, he knows what weed is, and she's putting him to bed, and then her boyfriend Dave shows up, and they start smooching on the couch and getting ready to get busy with each other. And then Julian gets scared. He comes downstairs saying that there was a man with a weird looking face upstairs, and Dave says goblins. He's like, shut the fuck up, Dave. And then Vicky goes to look. She plays a prank on him, and then he goes to bed feeling alright. He asks her to close the closet. She tries closing it. She can't close it because Michael's in the fucking closet. Michael comes out and slashes her, and then she slips on her own sock on the laminate floor. And then Michael grabs her and drags her into the room and stabs her to death. And then Dave goes, and we don't see what happens to Dave until Hawkins comes along. But anyway, Hawkins and Laurie find out. Laurie shows up. She tells everyone to get inside, and she pulls a Loomis. She's like, get inside, everybody, come on. And then Hawkins is investigating, and yeah. So back at the party, well, it's not just the party yet. Basically, Hawkins investigates. He finds Dave, which Dave, by the way, mentioned that he got a tattoo, and it's going to be the night that they remember, which is his date of death. So the coroner's like, when the fuck did this guy die? It's right on his arm. The 31st of October, 2018. That's what he's got, but it's in the American one, so it's 10/31/18, which just sounds like a combination instead of a date. But anyway, so he finds Vicky's body, which has a white sheet over it with eyes cut out like a ghost. You know, like the ghost thing that Michael wore in the first one to go and kill Linda. And in the fish tank beside her, there's a pumpkin. There's a jack-o'-lantern that Dave brought earlier that I forgot to mention. It's got hearts for eyes. I just like that, the fact that he just put it in there. But then Michael walks past the door and down the stairs, and Hawkins shoots at him, and he misses. And then Laurie comes round, she shoots him. She shoots Michael and it hits him in the shoulder, but he keeps moving because he's Michael Myers and nothing affects him. But yeah. By the way, this doesn't have any of the supernatural cult shit, so it's just Michael being Michael. And you can handle it. But anyway, back at the party, just before the party actually, Laurie says that she prayed for him to escape every night so that she could kill him. Anyway, that's when we go back to the party. Things have gone to shit. You know, they've had their pictures taken. Basically, they dressed up as gender bent Bonnie and Clyde. So he's Bonnie, she's Clyde, and yeah. So they, have a good old time a little bit, and then Cameron drinks some booze that he's not allowed to have, because they're still in high school. So in America that's illegal, because it's 21. But anyway, he drank a bunch of booze. He kisses some girl dressed as a slutty tiger, and yeah, of course, she sees him do it, and he's like the guy in Halloween 4, where he gets caught with his pants down, but doesn't admit that he did it. But anyway, so basically they have an argument, and he tosses her phone because he gets jealous that she's on the phone all the time. But her mum's trying to call her because basically her. Anyway, so someone's trying to call her. He fucking launches it in the punch, and she leaves. And yeah, so she ends up walking with Oscar. And Oscar, Oscar's a friend of theirs, but Oscar doesn't really do much till this point. He's basically a nice guy. Basically, he's a nice guy. And yeah, he's basically like, oh, if he can't see you the prettiest girl in the school, then he's not worthy of you. And, all that shit. But anyway, Laurie comes with the police to escort Karen to Laurie's house, and yeah, they try to phone her, and then Laurie quotes herself where she says, "Now do as I say," which, I mean, it's fair enough. It's the same character. It isn't some other character saying that line, you know. So it fits because it's her. But she also called him the Sheep earlier, which was just pure fan service, but it was alright. But yeah, Oscar starts being creepy towards her, towards Allison. Basically, he leads her down a shortcut into this guy's backyard, and he tries to kiss her because she's like, "I'm not with Cameron anymore." But then she's like, "I don't want you. Just because I'm not with Cameron doesn't mean I want you." And then he's like, "Oh well." He tries to blame it on what he's eaten and what he's drank and all the other women at the party. But yeah, she basically tells him to fuck off. She walks away, and then he runs it, and then Michael appears. And there's motion sensor lights, and I like this. This is probably my favourite jump scare I've ever seen, where Michael, at first is off to the side, and then he's still there, and he's at different spots, and then all of a sudden he's attacking Oscar, because it's Michael. He can probably move slow enough that a motion detector won't fucking detect it, and end up right in front of you. But anyway, so Oscar gets killed. And yeah, Oscar gets fucking killed. Like he gets to the gate and he screams for help, and Michael stabs him and then brings his head onto the spike, and he's dead. And then Allison comes back, then she sees Oscar's dead body, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And then she sees Michael, then she starts screaming, and then we get one of my favourite pieces of music from this film, which is The Shape Hunts Allison, and it's great. It's a great piece. I would definitely recommend it. But anyway, remember how I said it's like The Force Awakens, where it does the original but different? She goes running to the neighbours and she screams for help, and she gets help, unlike Laurie in the original. And yeah, she gets put in the car with Hawkins later. This is after Laurie takes Karen and her husband down into the bunker, where Karen says, "Welcome to my childhood." And yeah, that was okay, whatever. I get the whole entire being naive thing is because she didn't have a proper childhood, but it's still fucking annoying to see like a 30 to 40-year-old woman acting like a 6-year-old. It's still irritating to see. But anyway, so Hawkins takes Allison, starts driving her towards Laurie's, but he sees Michael on his way and he fucking runs him over. And Sartain's obviously pissed because Sartain's a Michael fanboy, unlike Loomis, and he basically says, "Oh, you killed him, you shouldn't have done that." But then Sartain kills Hawkins because his pen turns out to be a knife and he stabs him with it. And this is a twist, and it's not very noticeable at first. Like the first time I saw this, I didn't notice it. Like I didn't notice all the lead up, but then I did on the second viewing. But yeah. So then we have the dumbest things I've ever seen. He grabs Michael's mask and he puts it on, and then he gets up. And there was someone on YouTube that I saw said that should have been the twist, that they should have continued with it. Oh, it's stupid as fuck. Oh, but anyway, he takes it off and he drags Michael into the back with Allison, and yeah, he starts driving towards Laurie's because he wants to see how they would clash together. Remember I said the device thing. It's a device to get Michael to Laurie, and also he helped Michael escape the bus, so he's a device to help Michael get out. But obviously it's alright in comparison. Like they do a good job with because Sartain at the beginning, as I said, he basically he does the opposite of Loomis, saying that he's evil and that he should be destroyed, but he wants to study him and he wants to see him out in the wild, as he says. But anyway, so Michael is knocked out for a bit, and we see a bunch of cops outside of Laurie's, and these cops are quite funny. They're two people that worked on the film. One's the special effects advisor, and the last film I can think of that had the special effects advisor in it was Sarah Chucky. But anyway, which is the one I haven't seen, but I've seen the clip of that bit. But yeah, and the other one is the legal advisor in terms of like police and that. When it comes to that side, but yeah, they have a funny bit where they talk about lunches, and one talks about banh mi sandwiches. The other says that he brought a homemade brownie that he made himself, and the other guy says that sounds like something that a 5-year-old would make for his lunch. I'd probably say that even adults would still do that, but anyway. So Allison tricks Dr. Sartain by saying that Michael spoke to her, and he's like, "Oh, what did he say? What did he say?" And then she's like, "If you stop, I'll tell you." So he stops, and he's like, "What did he say? What did he say?" And then she looks at Michael, and she sees that the mask is gone, and she goes, "Fuck!" And then he's like, "What?" Sartain's like, "Wait a minute, what?" And then he's like, "Oh, Michael, you're awake." And then Michael just fucking kicks him. He doesn't give a shit. He just kicks the chair in front of him, slamming Sartain at the steering wheel. And then Allison escapes as Michael drags Sartain out the front and before he does anything to Sartain says, "Say something, Michael." And Michael just stomps his fucking head in with one stomp, and it turns into like a bloody watermelon. Well, it doesn't look like a bloody watermelon, but basically if you took a watermelon and you stomped on it, that's what it looks like a bit. But yeah, I like that. That was good. Anyway, the two cops show up, and they don't see Michael behind them. Allison takes off into the woods, and yeah. So we cut back to the house, and the cop car just comes in, and Ray's watching the security cams, and he goes out to see if the cops have anything new on his daughter, and he opens the door, and that's when he sees they're both fucking dead. One's got Sartain's penknife in his head, and the other one's head's been turned into a fucking jack-o'-lantern with a torch up it. And I thought that was fucking cool and creepy and surprising. And then Michael, before Ray can do anything, walks out with the bells that Laurie has and strangles him with them, garrots him with them, and he lets off a shot, and that obviously alerts Karen and Laurie that he's there. And Laurie ends up turning up all the lights outside so she can see Michael. She sees Michael and she hides. She blocks the door up. She hides there for a bit, and then Michael bursts his hand through the door after a little bit and tries to grab the gun off of her. And he puts his hand at the top by accident. This blasts off two of his fingers. He's trying to suffocate Laurie, but he's trying to get rid of the gun. Laurie manages to blast his fingers off. This obviously causes Michael to let go. And he's bleeding profusely, but then Laurie goes into the bunker, and Michael busts through. Like, he doesn't do what he does in other movies, where he just busts through the door. He ends up, like, unlocking everything and removing the bar, and then he opens the door, and then, yeah, he goes and gets a fire poker, and Laurie shoots through the floor because she thinks that he's there, but obviously that doesn't work, and Michael, he disappears, though. He just goes away. But Laurie searches the house for him, and she goes searching, obviously, room through room. She has these metal gates when she figures that Michael's not in the room that she brings down. And then we cut to Allison, who ends up in the shooting range, and this scene was pointless, as it's just a bunch of cuts between different statues and like targets, and then between Allison, and she screams, and then that's the end of that. But yeah, we cut back to Laurie. She's searching for Michael, and then she goes into a room that looks like the room from the end of Halloween. The one where she hides in the wardrobe. And yeah, she has some mannequins in there. And she opens the wardrobe, and up on top of the wardrobe is Ray's body. Obviously Michael in that time went outside, grabs Ray's body, dragged him upstairs and put him up there. But yeah, Michael is found he's hiding behind the mannequins, and he bursts out and he fights with Laurie, and Laurie tries to stab him, and he doesn't get the fire poker yet. I'm mixing up scenes, but he gets a wound on her leg. He stabs her in the leg, and then he tosses her off the balcony, and then Allison arrives. She screams, "Grandmother, grandmother, where are you, grandmother?" And then this distracts Michael, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then he looks back, and Laurie's gone. She's pulled the Michael Myers on Michael Myers. And Michael just kind of stands there like, oh shit. But yeah. So before Michael gets out of the room, Karen leads Allison down into the basement bunker, and Michael comes along, and that's when he gets the fire poker, and then he removes the island. Michael is so fucking strong. He straight up lifts the island and moves it out the way, and then he doesn't go down yet because Karen grabs a gun, and Karen pulls an act on him. And she basically says that she can't do it, and then she can't do it, and Michael then appears, and then she says, "Gotcha," and pulls the trigger. This hits Michael, like, here, like, hits him here, and then he's like, oh, fuck. And then Laurie comes out of the shadows and says, "Happy Halloween, Michael," and she tries to stab him, and yeah, they have a tussle, they have a little bit of fight, but anyway, Michael gets knocked into the basement, and he grabs Karen, but Allison climbs out, and then Karen goes to climb out, but Michael grabs her and gets her by the ankle. If you know Michael's grip, it's like fucking iron if you can't do nothing. So they try to figure out what they try. Laurie tells Allison to run, but Allison picks up the knife that Laurie had, that she tried to attack Michael with, and she stabs him in the shoulder. This doesn't do much to Michael. Then she cuts his hand, and then Michael lets go, and Karen kicks him in the face, which knocks him to the bottom of the basement. And then Laurie hits a button, which brings these metal spikes out the floor. And then turns out it wasn't a bunker at all. It was a trap. And yeah. So they leave and light the place on fire. And then Michael just stands there, looking up at Laurie like, "Bitch, you know I ain't gonna die. You know I'm gonna return." And because Michael does, no, there's only one instance where Michael has actually died, and that was Halloween 2, 10 years ago. Yeah. Unlike all the other slasher movie villains who almost die, like every film, they have to have some bullshit reason as to why they've come back somehow. But yeah. So Allison flags down a truck. They all get in the truck as the place burns. Cut to the basement. Nobody. No Michael. Anywhere. And then, yeah. But it freeze frames on Allison holding the knife. And then the credits come down. And after the credits, we hear some heavy breathing. Michael's typical heavy breathing. Done by Nick Castle, the original Michael. And yeah. That obviously means sequel, which is coming out next year. And I am going to be honest, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be good, hopefully. I mean, they've got this sequel, which is called Halloween Kills. I know the shit name. But then they have the next sequel in 2021 called Halloween Ends, which tells me that this is actually, unlike other movies where they've got a story written, like a continuous story written, unlike other franchises that have, had new trilogies these years. But, yeah. And, Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be back for Halloween Kills. I know that. And, yeah. So, as I said, 7 out of 10 trick-or-treat bags. But, yeah, with that, happy Halloween. I mean, I know it's over in Britain now, but it will still be Halloween in America, so it's still technically Halloween. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, do what you do. Anyway, November 1st, I'll still be uploading horror stuff anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's not Halloween or not. I'm still going to be uploading horror stuff. But anyway, if you want to help me out, why not the subscribe button? And if you want notifications, you got to hit the bell, because that's the thing. And I'll hopefully see you next time. And goodbye. Also, as I said, happy Halloween.